So we are called general man, woman into a life of submission. Lovely people, yeah, going to the office today, and I quickly want to talk about a little something that has kind of been on a discussion for so many people, and they made it look as if it's a very scary thing, especially for women, and it's a word submission. And studying my Bible, I have found out that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that word submission. But you know what? The word has made it look as if the word submission is out of this space. And the system of the word made it look as if made women especially to dread that word submission. But I've come to the realization that that word submission is a very powerful word. Even though the word make us want to make us believe that the word submission is a very dreadful word, it's high time we have to kind of start realizing that that word submission is a very sweet word. And from researches and every other thing that I find out, morning, from researches and everything that I've kind of find out, I have come to the realization that that word submission is a very powerful word. And as women, God has put us in a very powerful position and gave us that word. We have to kind of appreciate that word, which is submission, and then research about it and put your life in a position of submission because it's a very sweet word. Every other person, pastors, preachers, all that made us kind of dread that word submission as a woman, but it's a very sweet word. You know why it's sweet? Because when you put yourself in the place of submission, you're glorified. So the glory is in the submission. So if you are a submissive person, your life is a glorious life. Check the life of Jesus Christ. And that's why I keep making emphasis. As in, as a Christian, when you get to a position, if you give your life to Christ, the only person you have to kind of study and study very well and become that person is the life of Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ is a very, very good example for every Christian to emulate. So emulate the lifestyle of Jesus. And that's what I told myself. That as a Christian that I am, because I got born again, and I got into a church that, preach a whole lot of condemnation, you understand, a whole lot of kind of making the woman feel as if you don't have a voice. And they kind of think as in put a whole lot of this word submission into your head that it got to a point you feel as if you don't even have a life of your own, but your husband, especially when you're married. But submission is a sweet word. And I'm encouraging every one of us, as ladies especially, to be a submissive person. Not just to your husband, but to the society as a whole. Because God said in His word very well that we should submit to each other. And then, as a married couple, husband love your wife, and wife is submissive to your husband. So we are called general man, woman into a life of submission. So why are we dreading that word submission? Submission is a stupid. And if you check the life of Jesus Christ, he's a very submissive person. And that's why he could give his life for you and me. It's because of his submission. And that's why God glorified him. I read in my Bible that Jesus himself said the hour has come for him to be glorified. What do you think is one glory, but as in one, let me just say, a fire that came upon Jesus for him to be glorified? No, it was because of submission, for him to kind of lay down his life for us. So he submitted himself for the death of dying, to the position of dying. And that's what makes him glorified. So submission is a sweet word. Embrace it. And then live a life of submission, not just for women alone, for every humanity. We are supposed to be submissive to each other. And we're doing it, but it's just that we kind of make it look as if it's a very dreadful word, especially for women. We are all living a life of submission every day. We are submissive to each other. If you walk on the road, if you see traffic light telling you to stop, and you stop, that's submission. If you say go and you go, that's submission. So you see, the Bible rightly put it that we are all supposed to submit to each other, even as a husband love his wife, and as a wife do more submission to her husband. So there is nothing dreading in that word submission. It's a sweet word because that's where the glory is. Because if you check the life of Jesus, it was when he accepted to die, to be submissive to death, That's when he was glorified. I thought I should share this quick thought of mine so that every woman out there, every man out there will see that word submission as a beautiful word to embrace and not a dreadful word. It's a very sweet word to embrace. Submission is a sweet word because that's where the glory is. If you're a submissive person, definitely you'll be glorified. You are unique, you are special, and you are one of a kind. Go out there today and win and be submissive and nail your project. Because if you're a submissive person, there is no project you cannot nail in this world. So go ahead and nail your project today, even as you are a submissive person and a loving person. And I'm always here telling you that I love you and I love you so very much. Bye, guys.